Taylor.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Dr. TaylorMitchell. Thank you for joining me.
Yes.
We got episode 4 here of Notus and Friends. I'm super stoked about this podcast app. I don't know if you downloaded the Anchor here that we're recording this on, but it's super convenient. I've been looking for a long time on a convenient, not necessarily free way, but just like hassle-free way to have a conversation with people and record it. You know?
Great.
Hey, you know what's funny? I asked Devon if he wanted to record something as well, and he just messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm super open for that for sure. So how about I just send him a request and see if he can pop in on here too, and we can have a group chat." Okay, I'm back. I sent Devon the info, the invite. He might actually pop in. So I didn't really have much of an agenda, truthfully, very truthfully. I'll be 100% honest with you. I was supposed to talk to Ben Fuchs today, and this slot currently was left open for him, and we didn't line up. So I fished around a little bit. I sent some messages to some other friends of mine that we could have a podcast with. So I guess one of the things I like talking to you about is because we're both very much younger than the average person that's in the health business at all or anything like that. I'm quite young in the health business. You're younger than me. So I think it's worth talking together about how to deal with people. Because it is most definitely one thing when you're a full-fledged adult with authority and all this other stuff telling or people going to you for advice at that point. Whereas, a lot of the people that we'd be prospecting, so to speak, could be a lot older than us, significantly older than us, in more positions of authority, and we're not necessarily in the position for them to take us seriously. Although you, of course, you went out and got your naturopathic doctorate. You are a naturopathic doctor, full-fledged, practicing, and I'm sure that gives you quite a lot of clout. But I also want to talk about dealing with people in regular life, in the regular social environment, and as we have some pretty heavy beliefs here, right? There's some pretty strict beliefs. You and I both have very strict ways that we eat, and we expect those around us to fall into that. Devon.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
What's up?
Yo, let me throw on some headphones. This is interesting. We're on Anchor right now.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. I'm super stoked that this is so convenient to do, actually.
Okay, sorry. So
we've got Taylor here.
Okay.
You guys are both.
That's awesome.
You guys are both in the Denver. Well, you're closer to Boulder, I guess. Longmont. You guys are both in Colorado.
Yeah.
So you guys are both also living kind of the dream, kind of the young person's dream, right? You guys, neither of you have a full-time commitment that you hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both in business for yourselves. Taylor's obviously got the professional edge on, but Devon, you definitely have hacked a lot of things here in the living the good life situation.
Yeah, let me figure out how to mute myself.
Devon, there's a lot of feedback coming from your background. Can you quiet that?
Well, I'm going to go into a quiet room. How's that?
Yeah, that's probably the better solution.
Okay.
So I guess I kind of just wanted to open up a conversation with both of you guys, actually, and it's good that we got you both at the exact same time, about navigating the social landscape of our youth, essentially. We're the younger generation here, still on the come up, trying to have a good life, trying to be healthy at the same time, trying to have relationships with people who may not necessarily be on this kick, right? We might meet a lot of people who are following half of the things that we're recommending in our business life, so we always have to deal with that. And, we have friends that are on the same kick and we have friends that are halfway on it. And I'd like to discuss a little bit about that. And the other thing I wrote down here was healthy and cool. But I was talking to my friend, Andrew's in the room with me here, and I said, I'm not really thinking that it's that we're trying to make healthy cool, more that we're trying to make it known that you can be whoever it is you want to be. And that has really nothing to do with whether you supplement or not, or whether you avoid a couple of super bad foods or not. Right? You don't have to be a health freak or a health nut to be healthy at all. And so I want to throw this over to you guys first.
What's the question exactly?
It's not really a question. It's kind of a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to cover any, like, we're here to learn something specific. Just, I do feel that there's a lot of people who are kind of stuck in the, I want to be healthy, but nobody around me is healthy. And, you know, I want to help my parents, but they don't want to listen, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure both you guys have faced that. I've faced this, and us particularly, we stand out in this health world. If we all went to a convention together or a regular event in the health business, an expo, anything like this, we're probably going to be in the lowest demographic, right? We're the youngest people there, generally.
Very true.
So a lot of the problems that the middle-aged, middle-class people kind of thing, their strategies are going to be different. You know, their objections are going to be different, and their whole social environment is going to be a lot different, truthfully.
Taylor, you want to send it, or you want me to go? Taylor?
Well, hopefully she's still there. Devon, open it up, man. Tell us a little about it. If you want me to introduce you, by the way, it's worth introducing. The way I met Devon, I was standing in Tom Chenault's office in Longmont, Colorado, filming him for something, and you called him at that time, and he said, "Hey, I'm here with Wallach's," or something like you said, "Hey, that's Wallach's Warrior," or something like that. I said, "Who is that guy?" Tom told me about you. I connected. We became friends, and I love that type of serendipitous stuff. And actually, maybe it's even worth segueing into this whole social environment thing, that we tend to be we're all accumulating friends here, you know. And I don't know how quickly you used to accumulate friends, but I'm accumulating friends at a much more rapid rate than ever. I know, you know, Taylor's quite popular out there as well, and it's to me, I think the healthy part of it is actually kind of key in attracting a lot of this energy. You have any comments on this?
Yes.
Let me open it up to you.
Absolutely, man. I'm just very grateful and thankful to be on this little cool podcast anchor thing with you, man. And I look forward to doing more of these types of interactive conversations and answering, like, or opening into the topic. So being healthy, being cool, us young generation on the come up, the millennials, if you will. Oh, man. So what I've seen is, for the most part, in America especially, but like, we're so heavily indoctrinated with a culture that is infused with sex, drugs, and alcohol, all up and down every way around. It's there. Girls, parties, beer pong, so much alcohol. It's ridiculous. And a lot of these substances and activities, if you will, are cool. I mean, they're okay, I guess. But if you're getting too involved in that, I feel a lot of people, which is where I was 5 years ago before discovering the message of Dr. Wallach and longevity and beyond, is a lot of people are lost in the sauce. A lot of people are lost in the sauce, and they're
Lost
like,
in the sauce.
monkey see, monkey do. They're just kind of following the groove of like what everyone else is doing. And these substances and the girls and the parties and all that jazz, it's, you know, it's flesh based, and it brings you pleasure and value in the moment, but it's fleeting. And I feel too, in general, like our generation of the millennials and us that are growing older now have genuine hearts, you know. Like, I feel like for the most part there is a sense of us wanting to change the world or have some sort of positive influence. And we notice and we see the trend of like our family members and their health declining, the baby boomers, or like the jobs they're working, and we don't want that necessarily for ourselves. But the thing is, like, if we don't change, if we don't stand up for something, that's going to be kind of inherently what we receive, what we're going to get out of life. And through longevity and network marketing, and honestly too, like personal and self-development, it's been my drug, right? Like the law of substitution. And that's taking these things like partying and alcohol and girls and drugs and whatnot, and being able to like replace that, substitute it, if you will, with like learning more about myself and having radical self-inquiry, which is what Tom always talks about, which isn't fun to do, but being able to open up and build community and friendships in such a sustainable way that it brings you this level of like true everlasting fulfillment, man. And having fun in the process and going out and hiking. it's now just become a seamless part of my DMO, my daily method of operation. And it's awesome. But like looking back on it, it took a decision, right? I had reached a low point 5+ years ago and drinking, smoking, partying, doing literally nothing with my life, had no clue, no direction, no purpose. Took a decision to like release and let go of these things that were no longer serving me, to like open up and raise my vibration, so to speak, cleanse my mind and my soul to be able to like receive and like have Tom and this business attract into my life. And that's when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So very grateful for it, man. I'd like to have you maybe give some feedback, or Taylor, if you want to send it on some stuff.
Yeah, Taylor, are you there?
I think she was on the road, so she might have popped into like a bad reception zone.
That's totally possible. But Devon, I want to say, man, like,
Mhm.
and I apologize for calling you Devon, by the way. Nobody's completely sure if you want to be called Devon or Devon.
You call me Devon, bro.
Like,
Most people call me Devon.
so I wanted to say, like, you're not that much younger than me. Like, did you think at all that you'd be living the type of life that you're living right now? Like, literally, like, you know, people are probably like, this guy's sponsored or something. Like, how can you afford to do this? How does your life line up where you can go rock climbing if you feel like you can wake up, you can do yoga, you don't got to get out the door and put a tie on, right? You can take some gig jobs,
Yep.
you can build your business within your own strategy. Did you have any inkling that your life would be anything like this when you were so-called lost in the sauce? What was the future like being lost in the sauce? And hold on, before you even comment, I want to say, we've talked about you here, Andrew and I have talked about you here, and he's mentioned, like, because we don't come from that world. He's like, what's with the affirmations and stuff like this, right? And my comment was, you know, there are so many people who are just not even there yet. And what you're doing right now, and the way that you're communicating with people, it is for the masses, really, that are just not there yet, right? They're not even there to the point where you mentioned, like, making the decision to have a better life. They haven't done that yet, you know. So that's where affirmations and stuff come in, and I'd love for you to comment.
Definitely, man. 100%. So Taylor, glad to have you back on here. I'll share a little bit, and then Taylor, you can take it away. So back in the day when I was deep in the, so to speak, 19, 18, just out of high school, going to school, literally going to college with no clue and no intent on what I wanted to study or do. Seriously. And the only reason I was in school was because my parents told me, like, that's what you do. And for the most part, society, that's kind of what you do. You go to graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, and you get a job. But when I was in that zone, it was just a question mark, man. I was working a minimum wage job, serving popcorn at a movie theater during this phase. And what I did know was this. I knew what I didn't want to do. And I knew that I didn't want to work a like pencil pushing desk job where I was just like living for the weekend, or just getting ingrained from a young age this sense of like freedom and expansion and entrepreneurialism, just from the environment I grew up in. My parents, my mom and my dad, being entrepreneurs and owning their own businesses, etc. So I knew there was something entrepreneurial or something like open that I wanted to explore. And what got me to kind of step into the direction of my purpose was having a lot of tragedy take place, and losing friends, or having homies go to jail, or just like having blackout nights of just drinking and doing stupid shit. And it took me this level of tragedy to have an encounter with majesty. And what Tom talks about is the gift of desperation. And that's what I had to receive in order for me to change. And Tony talks about it. Tony Robbins says we're motivated either by, one, the ability to gain pleasure, or two, the ability to avoid pain. And that's what happened to me. And I started to look in the mirror and see my body, my mind, my mentality, my emotional well-being, and it was not good, man. I was very hypercritical, and that's where now, kind of transitioning into the affirmation standpoint, when I started getting into the realm of like some spirituality or simple things as such as affirmations. And one mantra that I still use and have on a daily basis, especially when I look in the mirror, and it's this whole component of self-love, and it's, I love myself just the way I am. I love myself just the way I am. Because before it was not that, man. It was a lot of hyper criticism. So the affirmations stepped in. That was incredible. Started getting more into fitness and exercise. Helped a friend of mine who was really overweight at the time at 19, 20, get fit, kind of lose some weight. And then that's when it kind of clicked, when I was like, dude, I want to do something where I'm having a positive impact on somebody. Like, that's what seriously gives me butterflies and makes me feel like I'm on top of the world, right? So became personal trainer by 2021. And then right around that same age, my brother, who I'd love to interact and have him come on these podcasts, introduced me to Tom Chenault. And when I heard Tom and did a phone call with him, knowing he was a salesman, expecting to hear a sales pitch from Tom, I didn't. What he did is he just took the time to build a relationship with me and coffee shop interviewed. I've also had my dad as a chiropractor, and I love health and nutrition. From a young age, it's been involved or around my life, but not necessarily a passion. But as I stepped into like personal growth and started really working on like feeling better, I knew eating better needed to be a part of that, and fell in love with that process. And kaboom, kabang, man, said yes, made a decision, which is huge. Making a decision and then a commitment that followed that has been the greatest thing of my world. And now, I'm not perfect, but I'm grateful to live a desired lifestyle of freedom and flexibility, traveling, adventuring, and it's amazing, dude. It's better than what I could have imagined, and I still have to kind of slap myself in the face at times and be like, wow, like, God, I'm so blessed right now. Like, this is amazing. And what I live for now is giving the gift that was given to me, right? Like, Taylor and I are on this mission and this journey, and so are you as well, Ryan. And that's wanting to paying it forward, like seeing that the secret of living is giving. And so now just helping others reclaim that, if that's something they want to declare in their life, and building a community in that process, online and in person. So that's my story in a nutshell, sticking to it. Taylor, anything you want to add?
Yeah, Taylor, are you there? She was messaging me, and she says she's she's got reception, but we can't hear her. We see her pop in and out. I'm sure we'd hear her voice if we could, and so I don't think she's there. But that's super inspirational, Devon.
Yeah.
It really, really is. The example that you're setting right now, and the ability to live a positive lifestyle. And I bet some people might even look at you and be like, "How is this guy so enthusiastic?" And I grew up in a grungy old city, and I didn't have much hopes of a good life, kind of thing. And I'm just standing there in Colorado, taking a hike, even just being able to wake up and just chill, just talk. And what do you want to do today? Anything, just the non-pressured lifestyle in a beautiful place, going out in the fresh air and all this stuff. It's such a world away from definitely where I was and where I believe you were. You're talking about alcohol and drugs. And that's where I like how you went from, you brought the conversation from the lost in the sauce to really the good life. And obviously we're both still on the way up. We're both still, we've got a long way to go, but yet neither of us have to work, right? We don't have to work a job. And Taylor, if she ever gets back in here, she's got a job, so to speak, but not really being a practitioner, especially it's not working at 7-Eleven kind of thing, and you don't have to go in on any set hours. She's got a super cool system to set her own hours and do video conferences with people. And, that's such a luxury in life. Really, one of the highest luxuries I think here is time. And the biggest question that people might have looking at your Instagram is, how do they have the time to do that? So you want to talk a little bit about the hustle here? Like I wanted to talk about the social environment as well. And I think it connects. I think when you're doing something as a hustle, people really don't have the ability to argue as much with it. Whereas if you're just trying to bring someone an abstract idea, it can turn into an argument very easily. People might think that because you're selling something, it makes people go more on guard. Whereas I think it really actually establishes a much more of an authority, because we wouldn't be in business if we didn't have something to say, something to sell, right? And so if you're just giving out free information and you're saying, you want to hear about this conspiracy or something, and there's no sale attached to it at all, that person's very unlikely to listen to it. But if you are in business, there has to be a reason, in my opinion. Probably other psychological reasons as well. But you're on the hustle. We're in the same business. But of course, this business is notorious for being difficult to build. We're talking about network marketing, multi-level marketing, and we happen to have amazing products. That's great. But obviously, of course, it doesn't matter your products, your company, your mentors, your upline. It matters you and what you actually do with it. So we need to have other things on the side generally to build this up. And you've got a number of interesting little ways to make money that are completely legal and completely open to anybody, where people really I guess you would need something up front. You need a car for a lot of it, right? These gigs with Uber and Lyft and Amazon, right?
Yeah.
But it's super cool, man. It's like a video game. You could pick up a job just on your GPS. You're going out to go grocery shopping. You're saying, "Hey, I'll turn on the Uber app while I'm out there. Bam, maybe I can make $20 while I'm going grocery shopping." Right? It's such a cool thing. You want to talk to us about that? You want to talk to us about hustle and to mention that you moved cities as well, right? I've moved cities too in your early 20s. It's not an easy thing to do, to pick up and move and start a new life and have an income and get it all set up and make contacts. And so tell us a bit about that and your experience.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So the beauty, the blessing, and the curse, and this is a big thing that most people fail on in terms of like entrepreneurialism, and that's being an entrepreneur. You are your own boss. So with that being said, you don't have people or somebody telling you what to do or when to come in and when you go to the restroom and when you clock out. You have to have that self-control, that self-discipline to like do it on your own, right? And big thing that I love to do is set goals, right? And it's simple, but like having goals, because goals are for people who are going places. And if you're not oriented towards something like a goal, then you're leaving your growth to randomness, which essentially means you're disoriented. And then if you're disoriented and just leaving your growth to randomness, that's the surefire way to know that you'll live in the land of mediocrity, which is unfortunately where most people live. And even if they have a job, what are their goals in their life? So what are they aspiring to do or become? And a lot of them, it's nothing, man. Their goals are like inherent goals, like they just receive from, I've got to pay my bills. And they're just living the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. So for me, the hustle, man, a great quote that Tom shares with me in terms of network marketing is, it's not what it is, it's who it is. And I'll say that again. It's not what it is who it is. Two components of that. One is, it's not these minerals and everything that's amazing about them that we're trying to sell in the vitamins, because there's thousands of network marketing companies and supplement companies as well that have got vitamins or the best keto this or the best antioxidant that. It's more so who it is. And that's what we've got, and what you've done an incredible job of really bringing online, especially in the retrospect of Instagram. And that's Dr. Wallach. That's who it is. And being able to leverage a message from a living legend like Dr. Wallach, who is tried and true all the way through, who has the credentials and the accolades that back him up 300,000%, the countless testimonials. That is what I feel people can really connect to. Not just, oh, I need selenium or I need more vitamin C or B12. It's like this whole like encompassing story that is visceral and tangible, and like it's real, it's raw, and it connects on that level. And so that's how I go about in terms of like spreading the message too, is just like, one, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. It's a little bit of a cliche, but being genuine, right? And not like looking at people as commission checks and dollar signs, but really seeing them as, like people who are lost or who are looking for guidance or clarity. And in whatever way, shape, or form we can serve them, I believe network marketing, and especially in the company of Longevity, we've got a tool, we've got something that can help them, if it's money, time, or health. So another thing too, not what it is who it is who, like a great question as an entrepreneur is, look in a mirror and ask yourself a leadership question. Would I follow you? Would you follow yourself in life? And if there's hesitancy in that, or the answer is a no, then you got to really step up and like recognize and do that self-inquiry and find places where you can develop, and also your strengths where you can double down on. But I like what you've done, especially is, turning this game from network marketing of like kind of having to hustle and trying to go talk to people and track them down, and like try and have them understand this abstract concept of minerals and Dr. Wallach and longevity and network marketing, and that can turn them off. So instead of doing all of that jazz, really it's like being this person, embodying this essence and this energy that is contagious and is uplifting and it's genuine and it's authentic, having that type of posture and presence to you. And eventually what will happen is people come to you. And that is the big shift, especially meeting and cultivating with you, Ryan, honestly, is like, set up the nets to where like the fish are swimming into it, instead of you trying to like take a gun and shoot into the water. You're blindly shooting, you're wasting a lot of time, effort, and energy. simple and knowing where the streams are flowing. What's up, Taylor? And that's part of the hustle now. It's setting the goals. It's having events that aren't even necessarily business events as much as they are like us getting together, breaking bread, having dinner, playing some sports with one another, having some fun, and showing them like the lifestyle. And also, too, I'm blessed, to live 8 minutes from Tom's mansion lake house that he's got, and bringing people over there and having them like see like what's possible. I mean, not trying to go too hard and selling the pie in the sky, but like breaking it down, like, dude, like this is a possibility.
Hey, it's totally possible, right?
Exactly.
Totally possible.
And so, yeah, and that's
Taylor. She's here.
What's up?
Finally, it's working.
Devon's been sharing some really inspirational stuff, and his story as well. So you didn't miss anything you don't know. But I think one of the cool things that we went from is that the standard social environment that we're kind of all used to is, as Devon describes, lost in the sauce, right? Alcohol, drugs.
Yeah, it's very common.
We've all dealt with being lost in the buzz, and we all made the decision to change that. And I did want to talk about the sort of any of the many things that can come up within that transition of trying to live a healthy or positive lifestyle within the general fuzz of being lost in the sauce. And you could talk a little bit about your own journey of getting here, Taylor. I don't think anybody in my audience has really ever gotten an opportunity to hear your proper story and take on this. But I especially want you to hit it from the social angle and just the fact that we are real people here, right? Everybody who's be listening to this at this point, they've heard the health message and all this stuff. And I think a lot of the questions that people have are really not necessarily just how to do this. Like we're just going to say go gluten-free, it's mechanical, but how to navigate it, how to navigate birthday parties, and relationships and families. And when one person in a family decides to go healthy and the rest don't, and dating people who aren't on board with this and all this kind of stuff. And I really just want to toss it over to you.
Okay. So from my experience, what I've seen is the relationship that you develop with yourself is so important. The stories that you tell yourself and the experiences that you have a lot to do with how you feel about yourself and also how you treat yourself. So it's not all eating, it's also about the story you're telling yourself while you're eating it, right? If you're eating something and you're like, oh, this is so horrible for me, this is going to hurt me, this is going to hurt my body, you're telling your body that, and that's probably what's going to happen. It's the relationship that you have with food and the relationship that you have with yourself and others. It's really important to look at that. Is it coming from a positive place or is it coming from a negative place? I think that's really important. So recently,
one comment that Devon made there at the end,
we can hear you.
It was that when you become this person that or when you build your life around the actions that are building you into the person that you need to be, people come to you. And I think one thought that came to mind when you were talking there, Taylor, was losing yourself, and that connects to the lost in the sauce, just trying to hang out, just trying to be friends, just trying to go to school, and lost in the in the sauce of nonsense of alcohol and that sexuality, hypersexuality, and losing that grounding with yourself. And that was the first thing you jumped in and mentioned there. It was sort of centering yourself and finding yourself in a way, loving yourself.
Sure.
What
I've dealt a lot
was the initial key for you guys.
So it's interesting, what I've been dealing a lot with lately is and looking into is like eating disorders and how a lot of people have it because most of us don't know what to eat. You go into the grocery store and a lot of people are really confused. I can't have this, I can't have that, I can't have too much of that, I don't know if I should eat this. Should I eat this? Is this healthy for me? Well, this person says it is, this doctor says it's not. People are just confused about what to do, and it's like they develop an unhealthy relationship with food. It's really easy to do that because you're afraid of it, or people eventually just fall off because they're like, oh, I don't care, this is too hard, I can't have anything, So, I mean, that's important too to think about.
True, and I think that barrier actually is a massive wall in front of a lot of people getting started. And I don't mean getting started, I mean even the initial mind opening to lifestyle changes. Just even that being such a vague concept and such a big concept in the average person's mind, that would just prevent them totally from going in this direction. It's one thing to think you just got to work out, but if we're talking about changing food and adding products and it can be quite a lot of things actually, and it can be completely overwhelming. You know, people are already confused on just what's floating around out there, and now we're hitting them with a bunch of other things too on top of that.
For sure.
But I do hope that we can set the example, and that's part of it. And you know, we have to navigate the world ourselves. We have to go to weddings, and we have to go on the road, and we have to do things that are going to make it more difficult to be healthy. But I also find that those things, living the active lifestyle, at least I mean the doing things lifestyle, allows you to do that in front of a lot of other people. Allows you to show these things to a lot of other people. You know, you don't need to pull the waitress in and say, "Hey, is this soy sauce gluten-free?" You can say it loudly, have other people hear you, right? Right as we're
Yeah.
walking in, "Hey, this place has gluten-free this and that," right? Before you get a table, right? And this place has filtered water, right? Saying it loud. Everybody else hears it. They didn't ask that. They start to think about, what am I drinking? Was this soup made in tap water too? They remember that news program they saw about tap water, and they say, "Oh, you know, this is how we change the world." I do think, and by being brazenly living the good life like you are, Devon, and Taylor. Honestly, you shine when you show up into a room. You shine, and people gravitate towards you. And having that presence and being that person, I know it's not just a matter of being awake and alive. Obviously, there's effort put into this. There's decisions made. There's personal development, you know, gone into. Taylor just dropped off there. Devon's still here though. But Devon, I want you to open more up into that being the person. And do you think that has anything to connect with what you do with your day? Like, do you think a lot of people? And by the way, I also wanted to mention, I wrote some things down here. It can sound like we're looking down on people when we're like, oh, they have to have a job, and or when we're like, I don't want to have a job. That makes it sound like, oh, you're lesser if you have a job. That's not true. There's people who live this lifestyle that I don't want. That I love those people. Right? There's people that I grew up with that they've chosen, or whatever their path led them to a life where they go to work and they have a home and they have a family and they have a truck and they have a whatever. You know, they don't have a business on the side. They could, nothing's stopping them, but it's a completely different life path, and they seem to be okay with it. And I'm most definitely not okay with it. I don't think you're okay with it. And by living the life that you're living right now, even just for a short period of time, I don't think you could ever go back. Truthfully, I could never go back. Right. So talk to us a little bit about this, and if you could even talk about that too. You know, there's so many people that we either want to be friends with, or that we were friends with, or that we're family with, or something like that, that are just not fully on board. And I want to talk, if you can, about some of the challenges of being healthy and still being either being friends with those people or having to make the tough decisions of kind of focusing your energy elsewhere. I kind of lean more towards the second one there, but these are major challenges for people considering lifestyle changes. People feel that they're giving something up. You were talking about being lost in the sauce. The main reason that people wouldn't want to get out of that is because they feel that they're giving something up. The main reason someone doesn't want to quit smoking is because they feel that they're giving something up. Same with gluten, same with whatever, right? And people can maintain a blatantly unhealthy lifestyle, or a lifestyle that they know will not bring them the financial satisfaction, just because they don't want to give up the things that they think are, you know, keeping them going, right? The snacks and they consider these things treats, and the parties. This is the reward for the work week kind of thing. And I know you know of this as sort of a backwards way of thinking, but just share some
For
thoughts
sure.
if you would on
So
this.
it's sad. A lot of people, I mean, especially in the Western world, have become complacent or comfortable living an uncomfortable life. And Tony Robbins says, like, you don't get what you want in your life, you get what you tolerate. And people are just living in that place, man, where it's like you shared, something familiar, something that they've just learned to just live with and accept. And then not only that, but like, especially with diseases, of chronic diseases, whatever people may have, but they identify with it, and it's just who they are. And the great quote from Jim Rohn is, "In order for things to change, you have to change. Don't wish for life to be easier. Wish for you to be better." And that's the trick, dude. And that's the thing too. Like when I first got put on game, so to speak, with Dr. Wallach, personal development, network marketing, longevity, and beyond. When I first got onto that platform, it was pretty eye-opening. It was different. It was scary. And another thing too is the quote is happiness, success lies outside of our comfort zones, man. If it's not going to make you feel a little bit scared, if it's not going to challenge you, it's not going to change you. And another thing I like for people to understand too is like fear, right? Fear is just an acronym for false evidence appearing real. And if we can really truly identify and understand that fear is just an illusion, right? And whatever we have fear around, which I still have fears and insecurities, I'm not perfect. I'm still a humble student learning every day. But if you can learn to, instead of using fear as a repellent and going away from it, but doing the opposite, and whatever you have fear of, lean into it, dude. Because I promise you, if you can go in the direction, that's probably the greatest piece of information and wisdom is like, whatever you're afraid of doing, fucking do that 100%. That's like, that'd be great. And I promise you, it's a lot of the time, 9 times out of 10, we make it way bigger and more scary in my head. For instance, with Taylor and I, she loves to sing and she loves to do freaking karaoke, dude, all the time. I don't know, dude. I don't really sing at all. I've got kind of a fear and anxiety around going up and singing a bunch of random people, even though most of them probably drunk and they don't care. In my head, I'm scared. So you know what, dude? It's a fear. I'm gonna freaking do it, dude. Second karaoke bars open up out here. I'm gonna go do it, dude. I don't care if I make a fool of myself. And everyone has got this FOLS thing, and the FOLS is FOLS, fear of looking stupid. Fear of looking stupid. But the thing is, we have to understand is people are so, we're all in our heads about how we think people are thinking about us. Most of the time, they're thinking the exact same thing. Oh my God, like, what are they thinking about me? Blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, tangent, circling it back, man. I got involved with longevity, said yes, did the radical self-inquiry, did the dirty work, went into my conscious and my psyche, and went into those gray and dark corners and areas that I didn't want to see or face, but like I did it. And it was like a weight, an energetic weight being lifted off my shoulders, and more breath, more oxygen in my lungs, and more of this sense of freedom and expansion that was just a high in and of itself naturally. And then when I was doing this process and like letting go of the things that were no longer serving me and replacing them with other more sustainable and loving, positive things, my friends and family, man, ridiculed me, judged me. My homies were like, Devon, bro, like, why aren't you smoking with us anymore, dude? Why don't you take this shot, man? Just take a little bit, take some shot right now. Like, come on, you're not even our friend. And that was very difficult, man, very difficult. And something my mom's always shared with me since I was young is, Devon, your friends are going to come and go in your life. It's going to happen. And what I had to do was just literally like go on my own journey, let go of my friends. I introduced 5 or 6 of my best friends to my business, and none of them said yes. None of them have joined me on this journey. And I had to start literally from scratch. But when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Understand that success lies outside of your comfort zone, and law of attraction, right? Like I started working on like increasing my consciousness, so to speak, and just getting woke, so to speak, and just like developing myself. And then through that journey, I started to attract other high vibrational beings like yourself, Ryan, and Taylor as well. And even more, like just so many people, incredible people into my life that I'm like, wow. And then another thing too is some of these people who are just comfortable with their friendships, man, they're tolerating it, man. And another big thing for me with all my friendships is like, one is getting clear about like what is a friend? Like define what does a friend mean to you? What value do they bring into your life? What are attributes and qualities that you want in a friendship, in a community? And getting clear about that, like writing that down. And something that I've come up with, it's pretty simple. It's just like 3 key system for me going out and networking and meeting people. 3 components I'm looking for in a quality partner and a friend or business partner as well is 1, are they open-minded? That's first and foremost. Are they open-minded or are they narrow, closed-minded people? So 1, are they open-minded? 2 is do they have a hunger? Do they have a burning desire or something? It doesn't even need to be burning. It's like, is there a hunger in them for more? Like, do they have this desire for more in their life? That's what I want. People who are growth oriented. And then lastly, number 3 is very important. Are they coachable? Are they humble? Are they willing to change? Are they willing to do this radical self-inquiry? Are they really willing to be pruned or like be criticized, or those three things? So are they, one, open-minded? Two, is this person hungry in some way, shape, or form? Or are they complacent? And then lastly, three, are they humble? Because you can have somebody who's hungry and like wants to take over the world, but is not open to criticism or to changing or being humble, and that's not cool. So those are just three basic things that I look for in prospects and friends and business partners. And it's hard. I know it is for all you people out there, man. It's hard to let go of some friends and deal with the ridicule, or have people like leave your life, maybe people you've known your whole life for 5, 10+ years. But I promise you, dude, it's sweeter. It's grass is greener on the other side. And you have to just trust the process and know that spirit, God, source, whatever you believe in, like, things will work out for you. A path, people will present, opportunities will present themselves, and good things will flow, and you will flourish. That's what I have to mention there.
Devon, the way that you described this with such seriousness, I absolutely appreciate it. I absolutely take it that seriously in my own life as well. And I think that people should take things more seriously, their life more seriously in general as well, and have a lower tolerance, basically higher standards, lower tolerance for the many things that people complain about in life. I like those three things that you're looking for in people. I'd like to comment on them, but just when you were saying this, I was thinking like it's a good thing to take it this seriously, because if you don't, in this business specifically, or really in any personal enterprise, like you can go and do Uber and do your side hustle, but you better take that money and invest it in something, right? You better do something and build something else, or you're just going to be driving Uber forever, and that's just a little bit of a freer job, but it's still a job. You got to complete the circle for wealth. But this business can actually eat you alive. This business can actually really hurt you. This business can be hard and emotionally not draining, but damaging. This can be psychologically damaging. It can damage your relationships if you don't do this properly. And so doing the whole, I liked how, Taylor was only here for a second, but both you and her jumped right into the yourself. This is a you thing. And if you're not prepared to face criticism, if you're not prepared to get better, if you're not prepared to be wrong, right? If you're not prepared to fail with people, or whatever, and keep going, then you will fail, but you won't just fail. You will actually probably be worse off, in my opinion. Like, experience is great, but you have to learn from the experience for it to have any value. If you don't learn from it, it can just hurt you, kind of thing, right? And if they don't continue on in business or anything like this, then it's just a waste of time, essentially. But people don't understand what they're getting themselves into, usually, in this business. And a lot of people paint it as easy. I'm guilty of this too. I used to tell people like, I'll enroll people under you and stuff like this. Just silliness, know better now. But you're just trying to get them in. You're trying to get them started. And I learned very quickly how delicate it was. I remember even some old time friends. There was one friend, I'd known her for a long time from back in the neighborhood, and she heard something that Dr. Wallach said about mental illness, right? Mental illness having something to do with nutrition, and she felt strongly that she had been helped by her psychoactive drugs and her medical doctor, and felt strongly offended by Dr. Wallach's message. This is someone I'd known a long time, and I really didn't even get a chance to even explain it. Wow. Just boom, relationship over, kind of thing. And that's a scary thing that a lot of people face in this business. And especially if they go out there half-hearted, and they go out and they say, okay, well, I'm taking this product and I feel great. And they do half a pitch to someone, or not really, they say something to someone, get shut down, and then they run home, kind of thing. And it takes a lot of perseverance in this business. And I like how you keep bringing up these quotes from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins. And I knew within 5 minutes of speaking to you that you had digested a lot of really good material. But it doesn't matter if really good material or not. Focused material. You're not watching Disney movies or listening to Tony Robbins, but you're doing it. That's what it says. You're doing it. There's a million people out there saying, "Oh, I'm trying this and that," and you bring up these names. You bring up the Jim Rohn, the Tony Robbins, and the whatever, and they've never heard of these people. And I'm saying, "What are you doing with your time, even really? Right? Are you watching Netflix, or are you trying to actually do something with your life here?" And those tools, those personal development tools, are the only reason that I'm still in this business at all. Like, I don't know who told me it at first, but somebody said, you need to look at these videos of network marketing and sales and stuff, because I was just obsessed with the health information, and I thought that was all I needed to know. And just like that would be in many other businesses. You think that I just know my product or whatever, and I'm good to go. I have a great product, good to go. There's so much more to it. And selling your friends and family, especially on a lifestyle, and this is one of the most difficult things that you could possibly do. And people underestimate that, and they just jump into it. But I'm only saying this because we are talking about building a life and having a lifestyle. Now, one of the ways that you've hacked it is by having gigs as well as network marketing, which builds a residual income, by the way. That's the benefit. That's the benefit of a network marketing business, is that if you do the business well, if you do the job well, the people that you enroll or whatever, or the customers that you find will get a benefit, will continue using the product, and you will get a residual benefit, a residual income from that, because you don't have to re-enroll somebody every time, right? You do the work the first time, and then the commissions come in kind of forever. Now that is one of the most beautiful systems that is available to anybody to build their lifestyle. And they don't have to do it with our company, but if they're in nutrition, they should, for sure, but like, there isn't many other hustles that are available, but yet this opportunity is there. It's there for everyone. It's equal opportunity. You don't need to have an education to do it. You can be black, white, red, brown, yellow. It doesn't matter. You could be young, you could be old, you could be disabled, you could be fat, you could be thin. It just doesn't matter, right? There's absolutely no qualifications to enter other than a small fee or whatever for the distributor license, and that's going to be true in every company. I think legally they have to charge something, right? So, but it's available to everyone, but yet it's actually an enormous task. But it's an enormous task, but it's not. It's it's this weird gray zone where you can be completely on your own. You can be with a team, but yet you don't need to open a Subway sandwich restaurant, right? You don't need to open a franchise. You don't need to get furniture. You don't need to have an accountant. All the other stuff of running a business is completely absent, yet all of the same challenges of building a customer base and working with that customer base and dealing with your margins and dealing with your seasons and dealing with your coronaviruses. I had 4 or 5 packages didn't arrive. Man, that hurts business, right? But anyways, neither here nor there. The mental foundations and fortitude that it takes to navigate that is ridiculously serious. And what you mentioned there in sort of vetting the friends, I think it's a really good idea, of taking a look and deciding whether you even want to enter a relationship, right? We can be caught up in some old relationships that we have from the past that we're kicking around, that we just happen to meet because we grew up near them or we went to school together, and they're not serving us at all. In fact, sometimes they call us and just complain. They're not adding any value to our life. Well, we can stop that from happening by being smart right now and choosing people that are forward thinking, like you said, hungry, open-minded, coachable, humble. Are they willing to do the work, right? And like you said, there's a lot of people who talk with real hunger, yet they're not willing to do the humble work that you need to do, right? And I want to let you speak as well, but sometimes people will message me and be like, hey, what are you doing? And they think I'm doing something glamorous like you. They think I'm out living like you, doing rock climbing or something right now. And I'm like, well, I'm just editing videos. I've been doing this for 4 days straight, actually. And they're like, that sounds pretty boring. And I say, yeah, well, if I do this for 4 or 5 days straight, then I got 3 or 4 weeks to not worry about it, right? That's that specific job that I was doing. And that's a concept that's just really not available to lots of other people, right? The doing now, the sacrificing now, the doing the hard work now, the maybe losing friends now, maybe skipping some parties now so that you can rock climb later, or so that you can travel later, or whatever. And I kind of just want to toss it over to you, and more of the things that you have found to be beneficial in switching gears from the lost in the sauce lifestyle to the navigating it solo to the now you're in a posse of people is worth mentioning. You got a spot, you got people in it. They're all positive people. I don't know if those people go way back with you. It doesn't sound like it, but it sounds like an excellent match now. And it sounds like a super team to move on to the next step too. And so many people would be jealous of that lifestyle. And I bet it's completely available to them probably within the next 12 to 24 months if they were to apply themselves to it.
100%. So touching on a number of different things, a couple of different things I should say right now. And in terms of network marketing, something that Tom has taught me is this whole component and understanding of like 80, 15, and 5. That when I'm going out there, I'm meeting people or people are coming to me, 80, 15, 5. 80% of the people that I'm meeting are going to be customers, right? And we've got another thing too that's important is, one, don't ever sell a pie in the sky. Don't try and hype them into the potential lifestyle. It is there, but you also need to hit them with the reality of like, it's going to be some hard work. It's going to take some grit, some grind, some hustle. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get judged. You're going to get whatever. But like, you've got to be able to have resiliency and perseverance to bounce back. So you got to hit them with like the love and like what's possible, but at the same time, let them know you're going to get punched in the fucking face. You're going to be by yourself. You might lose some relationships, but it's going to be 100,000 billion% more than worth it in the end. So now 80% of the people I meet are customers. 15% of them are distributors, which I categorize as individuals who are maybe interested in making a couple $100 extra a month, or up to like $1,000 or $2,000 extra a month. And then last but not least, 5% are going to be the influencers, and those are going to be the Luis Arias's, the big heavy hitters. Only 5% of the people you meet are going to be like, have the potential to be on that kind of category. Maybe not even on that level. Luis Arias is on an animal, so like something a little bit less. Somebody who's making like 5,000 a month residually would be considered like an influencer. So that's good. And then another thing too, that Tom always tells me is this, Devon, like, meet people where they are. Meet people where they are. Don't try and force them to fit into your thing. And another thing he taught me, especially when I was early on building this business and doing it in a very community oriented way, which I still do. He says, Devon, stop spending your time with those who need you. He said, Devon, learn to invest your time with those who deserve you. Don't spend your time with those who need you, because there are needy people all over the place. Invest your time with those who deserve you. I was just like, whoa. And then another, ideology or philosophy that Tom's taught me as well that has been awesome. And I really work on this. I'm not perfect, but he says, Devon, learn to leave people better after than when you first found them. Learn to leave people and places too. I do this with places. If I go to the restroom and there's shit everywhere, whatever, I'll pick it up, dude. I'll be that guy. And learn to leave people and places better after than when you first originally found them. And if you really adopt that mentality with every interaction, I mean, you don't have to be a kiss ass or whatever to every person you meet, but like, like, try and be impressionable and genuine, and like have them feel good about meeting you, and like leave those types of impressions, man. And like, I swear, dude, the universe pays back fat in dividends. And then another big thing too that is super crucial, and you were touching on it, the beautiful aspect of residual income. This business model isn't perfect. Network marketing is definitely not perfect. It's got a lot of, different people and companies and kind of negative stereotypical viewpoints on it. But at the end of the day, the model is beautiful. And I love the MLM, the network marketing model. And Tom's like, you've got to just love the model. And another thing too is, I say from Tom too, man, a lot of things I just get from him. He's like, Devon, you got to have posture. Posture is like your unwavering belief in something. Like, nothing's going to tarnish it. Nothing's going to bend it. I have friends even right now, homies that I've known since high school and before, who know what I'm doing, but like don't support me at all, are like probably in the closet, like ridiculing me. I don't give two shits, honestly, about it. And just having that strong posture, man, is so important and key for your success in this business. Yeah, and then, I mean, when you get to the level of like starting to like build some community, or you're just starting to like network and meet some friends, having a system that's set, having maybe like a mission statement, some values, some core values. And then another quote from Tom, and this is just a general network marketing quote, is this business is built from event to event to event to event to event. And so seeing if you can string along various events, if it's just meeting somebody, inviting them to watch something, or inviting them to a party or whatever, and like constantly like edifying the next event. And then within the community too, it's like we cross edify each other like crazy. Like, somebody's coming in, a girl named Susan, who's a yoga instructor.
Explain the word edify.
That's true.
That's a word that you might not know if you're not
true that. So I don't know necessarily
the
technical term of it, but in general, in layman's terms, edifying someone or something is to bring and build up and to like shed light upon. So the opposite of edification, I'd say, would be like casting shade in the street term, or gossip, in other words, right? Like, that's the opposite of edification. It's like saying bad things or derogatory things about a person or a thing that's not like adding positive value or building something up.
So instead of being like, yeah, this is my friend Devon, being like, I'm about to introduce you to one of my favorite people ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now this guy, he's
Bingo.
going to blow your mind.
As simple
Here's Devon.
and great as
Right.
that right there.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. It really does. And then a couple things. So one is it edifies, and they hear that and they're like, whoa, this is kind of stoked because they're already in love with maybe who you are, and that you're edifying somebody that you love. They're like, I'm going to love this guy too. So in one aspect that does that, it builds that up. Another thing too is on more of a subtle level, they get to see like that these people that we're with are constantly building each other up, acknowledging, one another, recognizing one another, and like speaking life over one another. They're like, wow, like, fuck, like I don't think I've ever seen something like this. Like, it's awesome. It's contagious. And I've got a buddy of mine who I believe you've met. His name is Daniel. He's just a love machine, dude. Just a dispenser of love constantly. Hugs galore. It's a bit much, but like the dude's on it, bro. And like he's just always like that. And people love him, bro. People are just like, baffled and just like so impressed with him. And so anyhow, full circle. It's beautiful. It's a grind. It's not easy. Having a system in place is honestly super crucial. Being real about it with people, having them develop their own history and knowledge behind the network marketing model and falling in love with that for posture purposes. And then adopting that mindset of leaving people better after than when you first originally found them.
Super good rules. And honestly, I love that in this world you just get inundated with useful phrases and little acronyms and ways of being. And what you were saying there about being around, I don't like to call it network marketers. Like, it makes it just sound weird, but like people who are involved in the business, it's awesome, man. You go up and meet someone, they're like, hey, and you go and they introduce you to someone, they give you the best intro ever. Like, it's just, they know the rules of human social behavior. I mean, it should be positive, and you can completely twist the way that people perceive. You can make a little tiny event that means nothing into just a super awesome little get together, just with these little things, just without putting people down and just introducing people well and being happy to see them, being happy to hear their story and everything, because we are in this together. Tie that back to this being so difficult. This is why even someone like me, who's not the type of person to be overly stoked about seeing strangers or anything like that. Hey, how you doing? I'm just really not that type of a person, but yet the business can be so difficult to build, especially in the early days. I did it alone as well. And having any event where one person or four people shows up, it is such a huge charge, because you work so hard to get those four people in the room, or to sign up your first customer or whatever, that you actually are stoked to have them as a customer, and you actually are happy to help them with whatever little things that they need. I still do the littlest of things for old customers and stuff. They call me. One of my good friends now, right before we got on this call, he's completely capable of ordering his own product. He's calling me to order a simple little product. I'm going to make a $4 commission on it, and I'm still going to do it, and I'm happy to do it. I'm actually happy to do it. I'm actually happy to hear from him, all that kind of stuff. And it's been such a positive charge. Some of my uplines are most definitely a lot closer to me than the majority of people in my family. They're mentors. They become people in my life, and people that I would go to for advice, people that I shared memories with and dreams with and this kind of stuff. And this didn't exist outside of the business. And some people bash the business too, like, oh, well, in the pyramid scheme, the people above you just want something out of you. And I'm like, well, number one, I know the people above me love me, right? I make them money, of course, right? But at the same time too, like, what do I want to have a relationship where I'm not bringing any value to anybody? That's stupid. I love giving value to people, especially, it takes the weight off your shoulders, right? You can feel like a freeloader in life if you're not contributing. And having people that are stoked to see you genuinely, and I don't care if it's because I make the money, but also other things, right? This is not just money. Yes. This is financial longevity here. We're talking about retirement. A lot of the people that are above me they're much older, and they've been in this a long time. They are looking at retirement where they are retired. So this means everything to them. Like, they don't have to go out and hustle anymore. And this is part of the network marketing model is provided for them. By the way, Devon, if we get cut off, it'll be because Anchor stops at 1 hour. I don't know if that's true, but we're we're going to discover this together right now. If it does, I'll open up a new one and I'll invite you back on and we can finish this thought. But yeah, you're talking about network marketing, and it's gotten to the point now where, and I've sold things my whole life, by the way. I've been selling things since I was a little kid, different things. Always they had some kind of value. I was never hawking trash goods or anything like that. But now it's to the point where I'm like, if someone doesn't have a referral bonus, I'm not even interested. Like I might buy a Tesla just because it has a referral bonus, and I'm not even that crazy about the vehicle, right? It does have specs though, and it does have the radiation protection, which that would give me all I need to pitch it truthfully. And the referral bonus, though, like the referral bonus.
Preach.
Every product should have a referral bonus. Hey, yeah, we just hit over 60 minutes and we're still recording, so that's super sweet. So I guess actually I think we had quite a good little talk here. We don't know we don't need to go too much into more detail, but I want to pick up on fear. You mentioned fear, and fear can come up in so many different ways, and I felt a little bit weird about just making content on fear itself, but I have, and I've even taken some of it down because I feel weird about just being like, this is how you live your life. But fear is the biggest pollutant that I know of in the personal mind. Fear is the biggest pollutant in relationships. You know, I think it's the number one thing that screws up relationships, that screws up lives, and that will definitely screw up your business. If you're trying to do especially a network marketing business, if you have that, what you said, fear of looking stupid, you're going to fail. Like that's something that needs to go away. It can be really, really difficult to turn off that what people think of you thing, right? You mentioned you get to a point where you really don't care.
Liberating.
It's one of the most beautiful points to be, because especially in the younger years, you get so caught up in the social environment and what people think, and all kinds of stupid things that we do. We go and buy clothes and we scuff them up so no one knows we went out and bought them, and just such weird things that kids do, all because of that fear of looking stupid, fear of judgment, fear of whatever. And for me and for you too, like the way that you present yourself online is actually who you are. You know, you're a really positive, genuine person. You're living a really positive, awesome lifestyle. And people might be shocked to hear that there's people that you grew up with who think you're an arrogant asshole or something, right? They're like, that guy, yeah, he got into this health thing and he just got weird, and, you know, and haters some way, somehow. People would probably be shocked to know that there's people in my life who most definitely don't have nice things to say about me, and probably scoffing in the same sort of similar way, but yet it doesn't matter. Right? Not only does it not matter, that if it mattered at all, that would be a hindrance to what I'm trying to do now, right? And you don't even get, when you get into the positive lifestyle or the productive lifestyle, you break out of it, you build something else. You don't even think about that, those past people, and you might still love them too, you know. But we get caught up in this whirlwind of attraction and positive actions leading to positive rewards, and you have found yourself surrounded with positive people. I've found myself with so many positive people who want my time. I can't give it to them all, right? And these are such amazing problems to have in life. And I guess just kind of on a final note here, that both of us are still young, and I feel like I went through a lot, this big long road to get here, but in reality it wasn't that long. You know what I mean? I'm 30 years old, so there's a lot of people out there that really have this daunting worldview, this daunting future. They either don't know what they want in the future, or they don't think that they're going to be able to get it. But the reality is that when you do switch gears, even if 10 years is a long time, but it's also not that long of a time. It took me about 10 years to kind of get my stuff together out there on my own, trying to do better sort of thing. But if you can imagine where you can be at, the difference between 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I mean, it's completely astonishing. And if anybody takes any of the words that you said here, especially if they've never heard of the Tony Robbins and all this stuff, I mean, I guess one of the first things I would say is go get some books and go get on the YouTube and obsess over it to the point where you can quote Jim Rohn, and you can quote Tony Robbins, and you can quote your other 5 favorite personal development coaches. You can quote some Think and Grow Rich, and we can share these memes that we all know. And it's helpful too to be, if you become that kind of person, great. But if you also hang around with other people like Devon, like Taylor, like, you know, some of our friends that are up to date on the personal development, are up to date on, hey, how to be nice to people, hey, how to build businesses, hey, how to do this. It accelerates the growth of what your potential is so much. It's not 2 times. Two people paired up cannot do twice the work of one people. They can do 8 times the work of one person, right? And that positive energy, creating that vortex, that tornado of motivation and reinforcement and affirmations and edification, right? All this stuff. It's just it is a superpower. It is a superpower, and it has been super. It's been awesome meeting you. We didn't meet that long ago. It was last year, and to see the force that you've even assembled there, it's like a transformer, right? You started with a couple people, you bring a couple more, and you bring a couple more, and just the impact of that. I have no idea where you're going from here. I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to be part of it. And the coolest thing in this too is that once you break out of that lost in the sauce lifestyle, you don't have a bunch of friends who are kind of essentially losers. They're not doing anything, right? You got friends who are just succeeding, right? Just succeeding. It's awesome, and it gives you the more motivation to do it yourself too. And then we're all winning. It doesn't even need to be directly together. You and I aren't in business together directly, kind of thing, right? And it doesn't even matter. Which is another beautiful thing about achieving some level of success, where the lost customer doesn't matter, right? They don't matter in the sense that you can't beat yourself up about it. It sucks that they did not receive the benefit of the products and services that we're providing, but
correct.
It's not a loss to us; it's a loss to them, and we have the empathy to understand it's a loss to them. It's not a loss to our business, kind of thing. And you succeeding is not a loss to me either. And a lot of those people lost in the sauce still be hating on people like us, many people like us who have taken the choice to leave that, to not just get caught up in the drinking, sex, and all that stuff, and to put conscious effort into building ourselves for years, might add, right? Worth adding 4 years. This didn't happen overnight, yet it didn't take forever. And this is what it is. This is the product of it. This is the result. And like I said, neither of us have made it yet. And I hope we do get chances over the years to update the situation as the lifestyle just gets better and better. It's freaking awesome. And I want to let you give some closing remarks here, and also give your social media. I didn't shout you out at all. You also have a nutrition account, but your personal accounts
this
as well.
has been a phenomenal conversation. I know it's been it was off the cuff, so to speak. Taylor was in and out. Her phone was doing whatever things. And
I didn't tell either of you.
This is great. I think having real, raw, off the cuff conversations like this, where we don't have something pre-written or meditated. It literally is just flowing from the heart, so to speak, is awesome. So I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I know we're just getting started, and like you mentioned too, bro, like you and Taylor and I, everyone else, we're still young. We're still on the hard come up right now. And there's so much beauty to be done. And I'm grateful for this conversation. I'm grateful for our friendship, grateful for like this divine contract and relationship we have with this company of YGYOntario, and what it entails, man, and what it can bring, not just for ourselves financially or fulfillment, but like more so for others too. Like it's awesome. And having like,
I hope people don't think we're in a cult, by the way. It is kind of culty, but like, for real, we save lives. For real.
It is.
Like, and it is awesome to have that power. Like, people who don't know what to do.
Yeah, it is.
I know what to do.
It's surreal. Closing, man, I mean, just leaning back on, like, if you want more, if you're in a position of like you're hurting or you're suffering or you're lonely, just know that you're not alone, right? And when 2 or more are together, I am there. Like, there are people, if they're not physically there, you can contact us at any minute. Like, we're always here to serve and provide love and value and support. Reach out to either one of us on social. My phone number, my Instagram is at Devon Suggs, DEVONSUGGS. And don't hesitate either. Don't hesitate. Like, reach out. We're here to support. We're here to encourage and bring life and love into you. So
Devon, let me jump in. That sounds like a crazy thing 15 years ago to just say that. Someone just be listening to something and be like, yo, just reach out to us. No, this is real. This is reality. We can reach out to each other. You can hit us up. We can become friends. We can meet. Maybe if the stars align. But maybe if you're thinking, man, I really want to get involved in this, that maybe that's the stars aligning. Maybe you message us and you start a friendship. Who knows? And it will be a genuine friendship too, by the way. I think I want you to keep going on your sign off, but like, it doesn't work if it's not genuine. I personally can't sit down and have a conversation with someone I'm not feeling. I can't do it. I mean, a conversation. I mean, a sharing situation. I can answer questions like a robot. This is a straightforward thing, but we're not gonna connect one way, if that makes sense. This is a 2 key system here, and it's amazing how the law of attraction, when you utilize it properly, you often don't even get those choices. You just get like pretty much purely good people reach out to you. I really don't get much nonsense. I don't get a lot of negative messages or anything like that. Get a lot of super amazing people that I seem to connect with super well, just came out of nowhere. And there's this sort of disbelief that on both sides, like, how is it so easy to just connect with these amazing people these days? And you and I did it. I've done this with many people now
that's
as well.
good.
So
That's perfect. Oh man,
continue
and
on.
those are who are by themselves or maybe have toxic friends or relationships. Radical self-inquiry is super huge, man. Being real and raw with yourself and not like treating that lightly. And if you're needing to like distance yourself from individuals, that's what needs to be done, man. And if you're feeling lonely, like you have mentors, you have people on the internet you can look up to or aspire from, you get inspiration from. So excited, man. Honestly, I mean, I think we've touched on a lot of really great topics today, and I'd love to do another one. Mineral Mentor is
Give us
our other
your other
Instagram account, and my Instagram account is at Devon Suggs. So far, right now, just on IG, but want to get on the podcast game. Want to be doing YouTube channels and Facebook, etc.
You need to get on the YouTube game. You need to like tomorrow. You guys have cameras there. You need to do that. Your lifestyle is it's great to do. And this is just closing remark. I actually wanted to talk to you about this. I called you the other day because I want to talk about this. If I'm going out and I'm gonna paint something, I'm gonna bring my regular camera. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna do time lapses. We're gonna get our shots with that. And then I'm also going to take my phone out and take a few clips for Instagram. And you're doing the clips for Instagram, and I just feel like you need to film what you're doing because people will watch it long form. They will get actual good value from it. And it's inspirational on top of that. Like just seeing you guys out there shining, being able to do it, and being open about how it's being done, right? None of you guys are rich just doing this out of your pocket. You're earning this, and you are living with the products of your hard work, right? So it's super awesome. You need to do that on YouTube. Like, have to. It only translates so far on Instagram. It's great what you are doing on Instagram, and you are acting as an inspiration there. But I think people need to hear what you guys are talking about. They need to see more of these little gatherings that you do or are a part of. And Colorado is kind of a special place for the quantity of these types of things that you could find yourself in. But yeah, people need to see that long form. I strongly encourage you to just do that. Whatever's stopping you from doing that,
appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much, man. That's phenomenal. And I think we should do another one of these with my brother, who you still haven't gotten a chance to meet, or vice versa, he hasn't gotten a chance to meet you either. Having my brother on this, I mean, he's just a plethora of wisdom, knowledge, information, like crazy awesome good stuff. And I think he'd be stoked to join in.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and we will get together. We'll do another one of these. I'm sure some questions will be generated. I do want to meet your brother Dylan. I'll see you guys when I can. The border's still closed. I want to get across that border. You know, got stuff to do, so we'll see you guys as soon as possible. I'm stoked to see your new place as well.
Yeah, we will.
And you guys better have some YouTube videos by that time.
Hold me accountable to that. We will have YouTube videos, long form content,
so.
For sure.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Devon, Mr. Devon, appreciate you. Taylor, she's not here, but I appreciate you as well. If you get to hear this later, you know, we'll get into the one with hers. We'll get the connection sorted out. All right, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night, and thank everybody for joining us. Let us know anytime. Reach out to us. Anything else that you want to hear on here, and let us know if there's anything you think that we should expand on that was mentioned here in the future. So
for sure. Thank you, Ryan.